Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing good. Today we are going to see chapter 9 of our course Global Leadership Management. In this chapter, we are going to study the team dynamics, creativity and problem solving and decision making. What are the learning outcomes of this chapter? We're going to describe the team performance model, explain 6 components of team dynamics and how they affect team performance. Then we're going to describe the 5 stages of team's development and 4 leadership styles based on each step or each stage. Then explain how to plan and conduct effective meetings and identify 6 problem members and explain how to handle them. Then the second part of our chapter is listing the 5 steps in the decision-making model, describe 5 techniques for generating creative alternatives, then discuss how individualistic and collectivism cultures and power distance affect work and decision-making. So let's start with teams and understand what is team. Team is any group of people or group of individuals in an organization that work together collaboratively in order to achieve a specific or a shared goal. So organizational structure today is based on teams because in modern philosophy of organizations and management, working and achieving goals are based on working through teams. So a teamwork will increase productivity through synergy. Then it's a habit of highly successful people, and it also involves working together to achieve something beyond the capabilities of individuals working alone. So while we work in team, we can achieve more and more while we work, or let's compare it while working alone. So what are the types of teams or groups? Formal groups, we have formal groups and informal groups. So let's start with formal groups. Formal groups are sanctioned by organization, such as functional teams, task teams. So functional teams, ongoing teams that consist of managers and their employees. Cross-functional groups with members from different groups, and some of them are self-directed groups or self-managed teams. And also we have multi-team, which is hybrid form of network of teams. So in functional teams, meaning that those teams that are working to achieve something together. Sometimes those teams consist of managers and employees together, and sometimes they are cross-functional groups, members from different groups. Because it's a functional team, they work for achieving a temporary or a certain project, so they work based on a certain function. And sometimes it can be self-directed groups or self-managed teams. And we have task teams. Task teams or task force are a temporary team that disbands when its purpose is accomplished, or a standing committee ongoing team with rotating members. So functional teams are usually more fixed, more permanent than task teams. Informal groups are developed spontaneously when people get together because of similar interests. They are usually informal in organizations. It's not based on the organization structure, but it's based more on connections and relationships. Then we have virtual teams that they do most of their work via electronic digital communications, such as Groupware, digital tool that allow team members of any size to edit a document at the same time or in sequence. So sometimes there are digital platforms shared in the organization among members, among teams, among different departments. They collaboratively working on it. Any edit from any department, any team will be showed to the others. Then we have team behavior. So team behavior, every person on a team behaves on a certain way, and all together they're having a shared behavior. So they are all together shaping a behavior, a certain behavior of their team, which will be shown to the others in the organization. Then we have team performance model. Team's performance is based on its structure, dynamic, and stage of development. So performance meaning what? The structure of the team, how it's designed, the dynamics, how they work, and stage of development, in which stage they are. A formula of this is to calculate the performance of a team could be team performance multiplied by team structure plus team dynamics plus team development stage. So teams face the system effects. If any one of the component is weak, performance suffer, because as we know, team consists of a group of, or is created based on a group of individuals. Any weak performance by any of the team members or team players will affect the whole team. So talking about team structure components, 4 components along with team dynamics and development affect team performance, which are leadership, composition, and creative problem solving and decision making and conflict. Leadership is one of the components that affect the performance of a team, because a leadership style will affect the whole team, will direct the whole members of that group, of that department, will tell them how to do things, and the way of doing things by end of the day will result in a certain level of performance. Then composition, meaning diversity of team members, knowledge, abilities, skill of the team members should complement each other. If there are very massive difference between individuals in a certain team, while giving them same task will result in different performance from individuals in the team, or maybe understanding and collaboration between the team members will not be very clear. Then another component is creative problem solving and decision making. So how teams work together when they encounter problem, reflect on the overall performance is very important, because creativity in solving problems is a very crucial part of any team, because teams are working to solve problems, and solving problems by the end of the day is the target that we are working to reach it. So creativity in bringing out solutions is very crucial for the teams in order to achieve their goals. And when they face a certain problem, decision-making process is the end result of what they are doing. Decision-making could make them achieve their goals better, or sometimes vice versa. And another component is conflict. Effectively resolving conflicts without hurting human relation is important to performance, because conflict is possible to happen at any time. So how effective a team can solve their conflicts and reduce the amount of conflict among each other while not hurting others and following the human relation rules or principles is very important for them in order to enhance their performance and prevent from weakening their performance. Now let's talk about team dynamics. Team dynamics refers to the unseen forces that influence how team behaves, communicate, work together. So it includes the interactions, relations, personalities, roles, and processes within a team that affect its performance and outcomes. So why team dynamic matters? Because we have positive dynamics and negative dynamics. Positive dynamics, better collaboration, innovation, and motivation among the team. While if we have negative dynamics, we will face miscommunication, conflict, and underperformance. So patterns of interaction that emerge a group develop, called group process, dynamic, and so on. So let's explain more team dynamics through an example, which imagine a project team where everyone trusts each other, communicates openly, and respect different perspectives. They're likely to meet deadlines and produce quality work. That's good team dynamic. But if there is mistrust, poor communication, or unclear roles, even talented individuals may struggle to achieve goals together. So, referring back to the definition of team dynamics, it includes what? Interaction, relationship, personality, role, and process within the team. Interaction, relationship, personality, role, and process could be positive, as this example, which will produce a quality work. It could be negative, such as mistrust, poor communication, and clear roles that will result in not achieving goals or not meeting deadlines, that even talented individuals may struggle to work properly within that team. Key aspects of team dynamics. What are the key aspects? Communication pattern, how openly and effectively team members share information, roles and responsibilities, how tasks are divided and whether everyone understands their part or not. Then leadership style, as we mentioned before, the approach taken by team leader or how leadership is shared will affect very, very deeply the team and the individuals. Group norms, unwritten rules or behaviors considered acceptable by team. Cohesion, the level of trust, respect, and bonding among members. And then conflict resolution, how the team deal with disagreements or challenge. Then, at last but not least, decision making, whether decisions are made collaboratively or dominated by few. Now we have team dynamics. 6 basic components consist of what? Objectives, size, norms, cohesiveness, status, and roles. So these are the 6 basic components of dynamics. Objectives, size, norms, cohesiveness, status, and roles. Objectives, setting goals as team according to capability, leader facilitate and set timelines, then size 5 to 9 members recommended, leader facilitate selection of member and size, then norms, group shared expectations of its member behavior. So sharing expectations of each member is very important, and leader needs to work toward maintaining positive norms. And cohesiveness is attractiveness and closeness group members, which the members should have for one another and for the group. And of course, higher cohesiveness denotes higher level of success. Leaders need to facilitate closeness as well. Then we have status, perceived ranking of one member relative to other member of the group, and leader need to facilitate good relationship among the members. Then we have roles, shared expectations of how group members will fulfill the requirement of their position, and the classification of the role is task role, maintenance roles, and self-interest roles. So it's very important to define roles. Everyone know what are their roles very clearly, and sharing expectations of how each member fulfill the requirement of their position of their role is very crucial to perform better and have a collaborative and well-understanding team. Now we are going to discuss team development stage and leadership. So we have orientation, which is autocratic leadership style. In the forming stage, roles and goal must be clearly defined. So we have forming stage, storming stage, norming stage, and performing stage. And at last, adjourning stage. So we have 5 stages. First one, forming stage, roles and goals must be clearly defined. After that, after forming stage, we have storming stage. Differences are experienced and members are encouraged to resolve issues. After that, we have norming stage. Relationships are built that satisfy affiliation needs. Norms are set and members learn to work together. After that, stage 4 is performing stage, which is commitment is high, performance is enhanced, group maintains a positive group structure and dynamics. Then at last, we have adjourning stage in task group, but not in functional groups. We have this stage, members experience feeling about leaving the group. So, in the forming stage, autocratic leadership style may be the most suitable one. In the storming stage, dissatisfaction will occur. So, consultative leadership style can be suitable style for this stage. Then, in resolution, in norming stage, participative leadership style is very suitable. Then in performing stage, we have laissez-faire leadership style, which is the most suitable, and we have discussed these leadership style in the previous chapters, of course, so that we don't need to discuss again. And then at the last stage, we have termination. Sometimes maybe members experience bad feelings, they don't want to continue, so termination will occur. So here we are going to discuss group development stage and situational supervision style. 4 situational supervisory styles are applied to group developmental stage. So if we want to develop groups, we have 4 situational supervisory styles that can be applied to each stage. First, we have low development stage, then we have moderate development stage, then we have high developed stage, and outstanding development. The low development stage, high commitment and low competence might occur. So we need autocratic leadership style to provide direction, make decisions for group. Then in the groups who are moderately developed, maybe low commitment and some competence we have in the group, among the team members or individuals. So the best style is consultative to provide direction, include members' input and decisions. So we consult the members. Then in high developed group, variable commitment and high competence we have among the team members. So the best style is participative, so less direction is needed and group participation is very important, so we let the group to participate in decision making. And in outstanding development stage, we have high commitment and high competence. So laissez-faire style is the most suitable one because it's already the team members are high committed and they have high skills or competencies. So group sets task and maintenance roles and make their own decisions. So these are the situational supervision style of leaders based on each development stage of groups. So, talking about meetings, we have leadership skills in meetings, written a meeting plan. Of course, before talking about this, it's very important for leaders to have skills, specific skills in meetings, because each meeting, especially formal meetings, needs its own skills in preparation. So what can we do? Written meeting plan. First, we have to have a written meeting plan, including time, date, day, place, beginning and ending times. And then objectives, statement of the purpose of the meeting. What's the purpose of this meeting? And of course, participant and assignments. List each participant's name and the assignments. So who are going to participate, who is going to participate in the meeting, and what are they assigned to, and what are their assignments and tasks, if any. If all members have the same assignment, make one assignment statement. Then we need to prepare the agenda, list each item to be covered in priority order with its approximate limit time. So of course, before every meeting, an agenda needs to be prepared in order to have an outline and the plan for that meeting. What are the topics need to cover? What are the matters that need to be discussed, who are going to participate, and all the information that we just mentioned needs to be included in the agenda. And a copy of that agenda should be given to all the members before the meeting starts, and of course, it's better to ask them if they have any important points that they need to be discussed in the meeting. It can be also added to the agenda previously. Then conducting the meeting. So after we plan, we write the agenda, make the preparations, then we come to the next stage, which is conducting the meeting. So we begin on time, and it's very important for all the members to be present on time. Review the progress, what they have done. So after welcoming, we need to review the progress of what we have done. Appoint a secretary or to take the minutes. Of course, someone needs to be secretary of the meeting, for example, if it's a council or any sort of group that is named according to what they are meeting for. And someone will be a secretary for the meeting to take the minutes and write down their notes and later on prepare the meeting minutes. Then cover the items of the agenda and summarize and review the assignments. Then end meeting on time. Of course, it's very important to end the meeting on the time that is designated for the meeting, because we need to respect others' time, and all the members have planned their time according to what they have informed before the duration of the meeting. So check if objectives were accomplished, get comments from people for assignments, and recall all assignments to encourage accountability and follow up on them. Then we have another point that we are going to face in meetings, which is handling problem members. We have silent members and talkative members, of course, in each group while meetings. So the silent members, leaders should encourage them to participate as the team will benefit of their input. And of course, the talkers have something to say about everything and like to dominate. Leaders have to slow them down and include others without alienating them. Of course, you have to slow them down in order to let the others to participate as well, but at the same time, leaders need to conduct this with respect that will not make them feel they are not listened to. Then we have the wanderers, those members who are wanderers, distract the team from the focus and like to complain and criticize. Leaders need to keep team on track. So there are members that, or let's say there might be members who want to distract the team, change conversation, and maybe complain and criticize all the time. Leaders need to calm them down and keep the team on track. Then we have board members. Of course, we have members, maybe we have members who are getting bored easily. So preoccupied with other issues, tend to be know-it's-all, who feel superior to other in group, and leader is obligated to keep members motivated. Then sometimes we have arguers, like to be the center of attention, likes to argue just for the sake of it rather than for productive purposes. So we have members, sometimes they just tend to argue. Sometimes their purposes are not productive, but it's in their nature. They seek attention. That's why they tend to argue on most of the points that are discussed during the meeting. So leaders should not engage in arguments and allow personal attacks, and they should keep the focus on the goal and move on. And of course, we have social loafers, those who do not want to take individual responsibility and do a fair share of the work. So leaders should use peer pressure to get them to do their work. So when working in a team, never embarrass, intimidate, or argue with any members, no matter how much they provoke. The result will only make them martyrs and make you look like a bully. If there are serious problem members who do not respond to the positive techniques, confront them individually outside the team meeting. So this is a leader's task. If there are some issues occurred from any individual or by any individual, try to confront them individually later outside the meeting, because there are things it's not proper to be discussed with a person, especially when it's a personal point of view. The leader should not confront them in the group or in the meeting. He or she should discuss this matter with them later on individually outside the team meeting. Now we have problem solving and decision making. So decisions are made to solve problems and take advantage of opportunities. Of course, we know that decisions tend to happen in order to solve problems. So, decisions are made to solve problems and take advantage of opportunities. What is problem? Let's first get to know what is problem. So whenever there is a difference between what is actually happening and what the individual or group wants to be happening. So if there are conflict of interest, if expectations does not meet or results does not meet expectations, problem occur. And what is problem solving? The process of taking corrective action to meet objectives. And what is decision making? Is the process of selecting an alternative course of action that will solve a problem. So, of course, in decision making, we have styles such as reflexive, to shoot from the hip. That means individuals make decisions fast and sometimes without getting all the information and considering all the alternatives. They respond very fast and they make decisions very fast. So, of course, it has positive and negative sides, or advantage and disadvantages. In positive point of it, they do not procrastinate. It's very important sometimes when a problem occurs, you do not procrastinate and make fast decisions in order to prevent the problem from getting bigger. A negative side of it, making quick decisions can lead to waste and duplication when a decision is not the best possible alternative. So you need to reconsider again, the problem will not be solved, and another decision might need to be made. Then we have reflective. Individuals take plenty of time to make decisions, taking into account considerable information and analysis of several alternatives. So reflective is the opposite of reflexive, which the individual takes a lot of time until they make the decision. So the positive side of it, decisions are not rushed, and the negative side of it is procrastination can be costly. Then we have consistent, which is individual make choice without rushing or wasting time. They know when they have enough information and alternatives to make a sound decision, which is better than the both others mentioned. So what are the steps? Step 1, define the problem, know the facts. So the steps of decision making could be as follows. First step, define the problem, know the facts, separate the symptoms from the cause by listing the observable and describable occurrence that indicate a problem exists. So first we need to know what is the problem and understand the problem. Second step is setting the objectives and criteria. Setting the goals in a place is vital. You need to have, must, and want to have a criteria to meet the goal. For example, hiring someone for a position, applicant must have a certain degree, firm wants to hire a minority. So as we mentioned, first we need to know what is and understand what is the problem. Secondly, we have to have objectives and criteria for the solution that is given to that problem. Then we have to generate alternatives. If alternative A didn't work, what is B and C? We have to have alternatives. So there is usually more than one way to solve a problem and list the possible and reasonable solutions. Then in step 4, analyze alternatives and select one. Think forward and try to predict the outcome of each alternative. Of course, you have to analyze each alternative to understand what is the best, what are their outcomes, advantages, disadvantages, which one will cause us less harm. So do a cost-benefit analysis, a technique of weighting the cost versus the possible benefit of a decision. Then in step 5, we have to plan, implement, and control. So develop a plan of action after understanding the problem, setting the criteria, setting alternative, analyzing each of those alternatives. Then we have to develop the plan of action with a schedule for its implementation. And of course, a plan needs to be implemented, and a schedule, a starting and an ending time should be there very accurately in order to implement it. And of course, how to implement it, the ways of implementation. Establish checkpoints with feedback and determine whether the decision is solving the problem. And of course, we have to control, which is monitoring while implementation and feedback after implementation. Now we are going to study creativity and innovation. Creativity is the ability to develop unique alternatives to solve problems, and innovation is organizational implementation of those creative ideas to improve procedures, processes, and products. So in creativity, how able we are to develop unique alternatives for solving a certain problem, and in innovation, how we implement those creative ideas to improve our procedures, processes, and products or services. So we have 4 stages in creative process. We have preparation, possible solution, incubation, and evaluation. First, in preparation, it's clear for its name that is preparing. Get familiar with the problem, get the facts, and get others' opinions, ideas, and feelings. So understand them, understand others, understand the problem, get familiar with it in order to find the best solution. So we will transfer to stage 2, which is possible solution. So generate as many solutions as possible without making any judgment. And incubation after that, take a break, which can lead to a solution. Sometimes taking a break will help in two things. First, thinking more deeply about the alternatives. Second, some problems might cool down, individuals might cool down, and sometimes we see things from a different point of view when we take a break. And then the last stage is evaluation. Evaluate the alternative to make sure the solution is practical. So these are the 4 stages in creative process. So what are the techniques for generating those creative alternatives? Of course, there are a lot of techniques, such as brainstorming, synectics, nominal grouping, consensus, and Delphi technique. So let's study each one by one. So brainstorming is a process of struggling many alternatives without evaluation to solve a problem. The rule is quantity and brainwriting. So in quantity, generating as many ideas as possible and no criticism, no evaluation of idea during the solution generation phase. And of course, free will, express any idea that comes out and of course build on the ideas presented. Then brainwriting, participants write their ideas down to eliminate the influence of peer pressure and other members' suggestions. So when you come up with an idea, write it down in order it will not be influenced by others' ideas or peers' pressure. And this is relevant for use with virtual teams. Then we have synectics, which is the process of generating novel alternatives through role-playing and fantasizing. The exact nature of the situation is not revealed in order to expand the group's thinking process. So in this one, we are going to novel the alternatives and generate novel alternatives through role-playing and fantasizing. Then we have nominal grouping, which is the process of generating and evaluating alternatives through a structured voting method. So helps lessen influence of status in the group. So we choose alternatives by voting, and it includes 6 steps. Each member separately write their ideas. Members give ideas in a round-robin fashion. Alternatives are clarified through a guided discussion. Then each member rates the ideas and votes. And then initial vote discussion takes place for clarification, and the final vote is taken to select the best alternative for the problem presented to the leader. Then we have consensus. Consensus is cooperative attempt to develop a solution acceptable to all employees, meaning that that group or that team needs to reach a solution that is acceptable for all in a way that no one or none of the peer will pressure the others and everyone is happy with that decision. So the process is a discussion where everyone agrees on a solution. Major benefit is that members are more committed to implementing it since the solution is provided by the group. So any single no in a group will result in a no. A consensus is based on all yes, all says yes, all agree on that solution without any pressure from the peers. Then we have Delphi technique, which is variation on nominal grouping. Polls a group through a series of anonymous questionnaires. Opinion of each round of questionnaire are analyzed and resubmitted to successive rounds of questionnaire. So a questionnaire will be distributed among the peers and it will be anonymous. So it may continue for 5 or more rounds before a consensus emerge. Used usually for technological forecasts. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of team decision making? We have pros and cons. In the advantages, better decisions as errors are avoided with the devil's advocates technique. Then we have more alternatives, then acceptance and commitments will increase, and higher moral increases job satisfaction, of course. And the cons or disadvantages are they are time consuming, domination, those in power may prevail, and conformity of groupthink, and of course lack of responsibility. No individual is held accountable. And another disadvantage is social loafing. Some do not do their fair share of work. Then the last topic in this chapter is cross-cultural differences in teamwork and decision making. So global economy requires decisions to be made that affect operation worldwide. And of course, cultural differences may be taken into account. And of course, in collective cultures of Asian countries, so this is such as an example. So teamwork is considered very important. Leadership and decision making are participative, and group composition is not very diversified with shared norms and cohesiveness. And of course, in European countries, there is less conflict than within individualistic countries such as the United States and many European countries. There are fewer status differences than in individualistic countries. And decisions are more reflective in countries that are not time sensitive, such as Egypt. And decisions are more reflexive in time sensitive countries, such as the United States. So each culture, each country has its own individual characteristics, traits, while dealing with different teams and different decision-making processes. In high power distance cultures, where more autocratic decisions are made, participation is not as acceptable, such as Mexico, Venezuela, Philippines, and Yugoslavia. And in low power distance cultures, there is a greater use of participation in decision making, such as the United States, Japan, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, Israel, and Netherlands. And this is a self-assessment for the students. And that's it. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my class.